Hello everyone, it's Justin here from Meridian Vocational College. We're looking at the unit Prepare Seafood Dishes. So we're up to section 4. If you turn to section 4 of your learner guide, we're looking at how we can cook fish and shellfish. So I've got a few examples on the board that I'll run through with you. When we cook fish, we always want to be very mindful that fish is very delicate, has a beautiful natural salty flavor and texture, and we want to look for methods of cookery that highlight that texture and that flavor. Okay, so different fish, different shellfish are suitable for different methods of cookery. Always keep that in mind. Some methods of cookery that we use are baking, deep frying, sauteing, grilling. We also have to understand that it makes them very tender, but also we must be careful when cooking. Okay, so there's less connective tissue than land animals. Okay, so this has an impact. We don't want our fish after it's been cooked to be dry, tough, rubbery, and flavorless. Okay, the most likely cause for this is overcooking. I want you to think about cooking seafood, cooking shellfish as the perfect fast food. Okay, so you can cook a really nice piece of, let's say, mullet, a fillet of mullet, in about 2 minutes. 1 minute each side in a hot pan. Okay, really beautiful. You can put very simple flavors there, cook with olive oil. You can serve that with a really nice, simple Mediterranean style salad with some cherry tomatoes, some Kalamata olives, some capers, some lemon juice, olive oil, perfect. Pan-fried mullet, and a really nice Mediterranean salad ready for dinner. Let's look at poaching as one method of cookery. There's a few ways that you can poach. Okay, so often we poach, which is really gentle. Okay, so about 95 degrees. We don't want to be rapidly boiling. Okay, so that has an impact on the flesh of the fish. It can be tough, it can be rubbery. We want to make sure that we are poaching. We can poach in a fish stock. Okay, so we might be wanting to poach some king prawns, okay, which are being peeled down, and we want to retain that nice natural sweetness from the prawns. We can also poach in milk. Okay, so this is very commonly done if we're looking to poach fish, for example, like cod. Okay, so we can add a bay leaf in there, we can add some peppercorns, maybe a sprig of thyme, and that flavors our poaching liquid. Okay, and once that fish has been cooked, it's nice and juicy, flaky, the perfect texture that we want, ready to serve to the customer. When we look at steaming, we can also practice as a student. We can get really creative with the way that we steam. So you have actually completed before the papillote salmon. Okay, so what that is it's a supreme of salmon, which has been, the skin has been taken off. We prepare some alfoil, baking paper, and we just add a little bit of oil, and we put our salmon fillet in there, or supreme. Basically, we're wrapping up this and baking this in the oven, but we're wrapping up the parcel to create some steam. Because of that, we want to get some flavor going in there. So we can actually do this with some nice aromatic Asian flavors. Okay, so we can put some sliced ginger. We can put a little bit of fish sauce, soy sauce. We can put some lemongrass. We can tear some mint. We can put some coriander. Okay, you can be creative with those Asian flavors. We can put a little bit of lime in there. So once we steam that, it takes about, depending on the size, maybe 6 to 7 minutes in the oven at 200 degrees. And come back and have a look, and you've got to get a really nice aroma coming from that fish. Let's look at grilling. Grilling is a really nice way to bring out some really nice natural caramelization and sweetness from crayfish, from lobster, from crabs, from prawns. Okay, I've also got here squid. Okay, so when I talk about squid, the culinary term that we use for squid in the kitchen is cooking calamari. Okay, so think about calamari that it needs to be either very quick cooking or has to be a long and slow process. Okay, so often when we cook squid, maybe we're doing a little braise. There's a dish, duvet of squid. Usually duvet is suitable for beef. This is a braising dish. But we can actually do this with squid. We can clean it down, we can cut the tubes into little rings, and we can cook this for 2 or 3 hours on a really low, gentle heat with a little bit of covering of stock. And that will mean that the squid becomes very tender. If we're grilling the squid, then we want to grill that in 1 or 2 minutes. Again, high heat, make sure your grill is not sticking, your squid is not sticking to the grill, and really high heat. A lot of great flavor, a lot of natural charcoal flavor comes from the char grilling process. When you're char grilling lobster, what we often do is we baste that, or we make a marinade that we can just keep putting over the top of the lobster, keep that really nice flavor, keep it simple, butter, lemon, maybe some chopped parsley, a little bit of garlic, you can put some smoked paprika, you can be really creative with your flavors. When we deep fry is a really effective way of cooking fish, especially through a batter or crumbing. If you go to the many fish and chip shops here in South Australia, then you're going to be seeing deep frying as a really common method of cookery. So again, we have to select the right fish. Okay, so flathead, snapper, garfish, whiting, these are all really great fish to batter and deep fry. So we take our flour, we do a simple batter, maybe even using a little bit of beer, some eggs, flour, whisk that up, or you put a little bit of soda water to create a nice crispy, airy texture. We can even crumb and cook squid in a deep fry. Okay, so again, quick cooking, 1 or 2 minutes. We want to get a nice crispy taste and texture. Really important when we're deep frying. When we come to actually presenting, so I'm on page 61 of your learning guide. I want you to think about how we can adjust food quality in terms of actually getting ready to present to your trainer or getting ready to present to your chef, to your customer. Remember, when we're cooking, we're not just cooking and tasting and looking. We're using all of our senses. Okay, so what I mean by that is we're looking to see and evaluate the dish. Okay, so we're checking for the ingredients, making sure they look really fresh, vibrant, and great color. Okay, the smell, when we especially with seafood, we want to make sure that it smells fresh, okay, and it has a really nice aroma whilst it's cooking, okay, not an unpleasant smell, okay, because this is going to be one of the first reactions that your customer gets, is that smell and aroma coming from the dish. Also, hearing. Hearing is so important, okay, so what do I mean by that? When we're cooking and frying some squid, we want to be listening for the sound, the bubble of our squid as it hits into the oil. Okay, so if it's spitting and it's going too hard, then I need to adjust the temperature. This is really important. Taste is really such an important part of the final presentation and evaluation of the dish. This is a sense that we're going to be relying on most, okay, when we're evaluating, and then from there I can determine how to adjust the dish. Different tastes that we get with fish. We have bitter, salty, sour, sweet. We want to balance these flavors when it comes to serving and presenting fish dishes. Okay, so always keep that in mind. Texture, flavor, having a balance. This is really important.